my head. And just like the guy whose feet are too big for his bed, nothing seems to fit. Those raindrops are falling on my head, they keep falling. So I just did me some talking to the sun, and I said I didn't like the way he got things done, sleeping on the job. Those rain.
Shall I read the tea here as usual, miss?
Yes, as usual.
Are there many interesting walks in the vicinity, Miss Cardew?
Oh, yes, a great many. From the top of one of the hills, quite close, one can see 5 counties.
5 counties? I don't think I shall like that. I hate crowds.
I suppose that is why you live in town.
Quite a well-kept garden this is, Miss Cardew.
So glad you like it, Miss Fairfax.
I had no idea there were any flowers in the country.
Oh, flowers are as common here, Miss Fairfax, as people are in London.
Personally, I cannot understand how anybody manages to exist in the country. If anybody who's anybody does, the country always bores me to death.
Ah, this is what the newspapers call agricultural depression, is it not? I believe the aristocracy are suffering very much from its just at present. It is almost an epidemic amongst them. I have been told. May I offer you some tea, Miss Fairfax?
Thank you. Detestable girl, but I require tea.
Sugar?
No, thank you. Sugar is not fashionable anymore.
Cake or bread and butter?
Bread and butter, please. Cake is rarely seen at the best houses nowadays. You have filled my tea with lumps of sugar, and though I asked most distinctively for bread and butter, you have given me cake. I am known for my gentleness of my disposition and the extraordinary sweetness of my nature, but I warn you, Miss Cardew, you may go too far.
To save my poor innocent trusting boy from the machinations of any other girl, there are no lengths to which I would not go.
From the moment I saw you, I distrusted you. I felt you were false and deceitful. I am never deceived in such manners. My first impressions of people are invariably right. Ernest! My own Ernest!
Gwendolyn, darling!
Are you married to this young lady?
To Sicily? Oh, of course not. What could have put that idea in your mind?
I knew there must be some misunderstanding. The gentleman around your waist is my dear guardian, Mr. John Worthy. Here's Ernest.
My own love.
One moment, Ernest. Are you engaged here to this young lady?
What young lady? Good heavens, Gwendolyn?
Yes, good heavens, Gwendolyn.
I mean, it's Gwendolyn. Of course not. What would put such an idea in your pretty little head?
Thank you.
I felt there's some slight error. The man you're now embracing is my cousin, Mr. Algernon Moncrief.
Algernon Moncrief? Oh, you called Algernon?
Cannot deny it.
Oh,
Is your name really John?
I could deny it if I liked. I could deny anything if I liked. But my name is John.
a gross deception has been practiced upon both of us.
My poor wounded Sicily.
My sweet Gwendolyn. There's just but one question I'd like to be allowed to ask my guardian here.
Yes, Mr. Worthing, I have but a question to ask you. Where is your brother Ernest? We are both engaged to him.
Gwendolyn, Sicily, it is very painful for me to be forced to speak the truth. I'm really quite inexperienced in anything of the kind. However, I'll be quite frank. I do not have a brother Ernest. I never had a brother in my entire life.
No brother at all?
None.
Have you no brother of any kind?
Never. Not even of any kind.
I am afraid it is quite clear, Sicily, that neither of us is engaged to be married.
Not a pleasant position for a young girl to be in, is it?
Let us go into the house. I am sure they wouldn't venture us in there.
No, men are so cowardly, aren't they?
This ghastly state of things is what you call bunburying, I suppose.
Yes, and a perfectly wonderful bunburying it has been. The most wonderful bunburying I've ever had in my life.
Well, you have no right to bunbury here.
That is absurd. One has the right to bunbury wherever one chooses. Every serious bunburyist knows that.
Serious bunbury is... How absurd.
Well, one has to be serious about something. I happen to be serious about bunbury. What on earth you are serious about, I haven't the nearest clue. You are such a trivial nature.
Well, the small satisfaction I have had out of this wretched business is that your friend Bunbury is quite exploded. You won't be able to run off to the country quite so often anymore, dear Algie. And a very good thing, too.
Your brother is a little off-color, isn't he, Jack? You won't be able to disappear to London as frequently as your wicked nature is accustomed to. And not a bad thing either.
I wanted to be engaged to Gwendolyn. That is all. I love her.
Well, I simply wanted to be engaged to Cicely. I adore her.
Well, there's certainly no chance of your marrying Miss Cardew.
Well, I think there's little likelihood, Jack, of you and Miss Fairfax ever being united.
Well, that is no business of yours.
If it were my business, I wouldn't talk about it. It is very vulgar to talk about one's business. Only stockbrokers do that, and merely at dinner parties.
Hey, you can stand there so calmly eating muffins in this terrible situation. I cannot make out. You are most certainly perfectly heartless.
Well, I cannot eat muffins in an agitated manner. The butter would probably get on my cuffs. One should always eat muffins quite calmly. It is the only way to eat them.
I say it's perfectly heartless of your eating muffins at all, under the circumstances.
When I am in trouble, eating is the only thing that consoles me. Indeed, when I am in really great trouble, as anyone who knows me intimately will tell you, I refuse everything except food and drink. At the present moment, I am eating muffins because I am unhappy. Besides, I am particularly fond of muffins.
Well, that is no reason why you should eat all the muffins in that greedy way.
I wish that you would eat tea cake. I do not like tea cake.
Good heavens, I suppose man may eat his own muffins in his own garden.
But you just said that it was perfectly heartless to eat muffins at the moment.
I said it was perfectly heartless of you to eat muffins, under the circumstances.
Well, that may be, but the muffins are all the same.
Algie, I wish you would just go.
You can't possibly ask me to leave without some dinner. I never leave without my dinner. No one ever does, except for vegetarians and people like that. Besides, I have an appointment to be christened by Dr. Chasuble at 5:45 under the name Earnest.
My dear fellow, the sooner you give up that nonsense, the better. I made arrangements with Chasuble this morning to be christened myself at 5:30. And I naturally will take the name of Ernest. Gwendolyn would wish it. We can't both be christened Ernest. Besides, I have a perfect right to be christened if I like. There is no evidence at all that I have ever been christened by anybody. I should think it extremely probable I never was, and so does Dr. Chasuble. You have been christened already?
Yes, but it was years ago.
Yes, but that you have been christened, that is the important thing.
Quite so. So I know my constitution can stand it. If you are not quite sure about your ever being christened, I must say that I think it rather dangerous you're venturing onto it now. It might make you very unwell. You can hardly have forgotten that someone very closely connected with you was very nearly carried off this week in Paris by a severe chill.
Yes, but a severe chill is not hereditary.
It used to be. I know, but I dare say it is now. Science is always making wonderful improvements.
That's nonsense. You're always full of nonsense.
Jack, you're at the muffins again. I wish you wouldn't. I told you I was very fond of muffins, and there are only 2 left.
But I hate tea cake.
And why on earth would you serve up tea cake for your guests? What ideas of hospitality you must have.
Algernon, I already told you to. Why don't you just go?
I have not finished my tea, and there's still 1 muffin left.
Raindrops are falling on my head, and just like the guy whose feet are too big for his bed, nothing seems to fit. Those raindrops are falling on my head.
Gwendolyn. Oh, fuck.
Are you married to this young lady?
Alright, go. You gonna go, Parker?
I think I should like that. I like crowds.
You are at no length to what I would not.
Oh my gosh, Ernest! My own Ernest! The man you now are embracing is my own cousin, Mr. Algernon Worthing. Oh,